Alright, I wanted to go over really quickly how to create custom intersections. So making your own pattern, basically. You can do it in Revit, or you can bring in Rhino patterns or AutoCAD patterns. I can show you how to do that if you want to. I'm just going to do this one in Revit. So I'm going to go to New Conceptual Mass and open up a blank conceptual mass. And I'm just going to make a copy of this center reference plane off to the side, and I'm going to pick it and I'm going to name it lines. Okay. And I'm going to go to my south elevation, or actually let's create the surface first. I'm going to select my center front back and I'm going to create a surface there. So I'm going to do rectangle, make surface from closed loops, and I'm just going to make a pretty large surface. Okay. Once I have that, I'll pick that reference plane, go to my south elevation, and I want to make some lines, some reference lines. So I'm going to select reference, go to line, make sure that I'm on my reference plane lines, and I'm just going to start drawing some lines. And the only thing you need to make sure of is that it goes completely across the surface. I'm going to hit escape and it's going to stop the chaining, and it'll allow me to draw another line there, escape, another line, there, another line here, another line here, and maybe another line there. We'll keep it simple for right now. So if I go back to 3D, I have these lines on this plane and then I have that surface. So what if I want this surface to accept this as the pattern? I can select that surface, go to divide surface, and it does the basic division. But you can turn those grids off. So basically they're not showing. And you could then intersect. So I'm going to go to intersects, select intersects, and you come in and you can pick these reference lines. So I'm just going to go into a view where I can window around all of them. And once you get them picked, you have to come over and check finish. Okay, and it projects those lines onto that surface. So now that surface is divided based on that pattern. Now, one interesting thing is that if you pick this line and move it, it's going to move the line on the pattern. So these are actually parametrically connected, which is interesting as well. So now you have that divided. You can then place a pattern on that. So I'm going to go to Insert, Load Family. I'm going to navigate to, and I'm going to we'll load the flap and the flap offset. So we'll load those two. Just make sure we got both of them. There they both are. So now I can pick that guy and go to the pull down and pick flap off. Let's just pick flap 5. Okay. So you're going to see that it brings that in and places that flap based on that division. Now if I didn't like that, of course I could come in and rotate that probably 180 maybe. Right, so it's more like a skin, right? Now again, if I come in and move one of these lines, so if I pick that and move it, it's going to balk on me a little bit, but it's going to move and update that division for that. I could pick this and of course change it to perhaps flap offset 2. And that makes it kind of small. That flap overlaps itself a little bit, so you're getting a little bit of an overlap. Let's go ahead and update that guy. Tab, select it, go to Edit Type, duplicate, we'll name it flap 3, and we'll make it a little bit more dramatic. Let's make it 10 feet and make it 2 feet. Click OK. Alright, so that one has updated, right, to that overlap. So if I just pick this whole piece, I can then go down and pick flap 3 and they will all update. So you can see, that is occurring. So that's how you create your own pattern. This one, obviously, I used a rectangle pattern for the piece because it most closely matched that one. If you're doing triangles or something, then you want to use the pattern piece that matches where the points are. There are 4 points here, so those 4 points from the rectangle went out and found them. If you have more than 4 points, you'll have to seek out a pattern that works for you, or use an adaptive pattern, which we haven't really talked about. Okay.